Hi. Today I'm doing something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm taking the African Ancestry DNA test to find out where my ancestor and I, where we come from, where we belong. Yeah. I grew up in a big blended family. I grew up to be proud, knowing that I had expectations that I had to live up to, and a bit of a strict household. Significantly, I grew up through the Civil Rights Movement, and my family was extremely active. I went to Operation Breadbasket every Saturday morning. Now, to let some of you know, Operation Breadbasket turned into Operation Push. But before that, it was Operation Breadbasket, and I went every Saturday. And significantly, I would go with my mother, my grandmother, and my aunts. But my grandmother and I had a very special relationship. That was my person. Yeah, that was my person. After Breadbasket was over, my grandmother and I would take the L and go to downtown Chicago, walk down State Street, and walk into Woolworths. We did this every Saturday. I remember this as a 3, 4, and 5-year-old, right? It was our date every week. We would sit at the counter, and I would order a hamburger, french fries, and a chocolate shake. And she would order french fries. She wouldn't order a whole meal. Never understood why at the time. And I remember once when I was older, I was like, Grandma, why do we keep coming down to this place? And she said, baby, because we can. Now you have to realize this was in mid to late 60s, right? Jim Crow was abolished in like 64, 65. Do a check for me. I'm not exactly sure. But we could do these things, but it wasn't liked, right? And she wanted to make sure that I felt that I could walk into any establishment and do what I need to do. So I picketed. I am somebody. I shouted that from a little kid. So I've been a proud black girl, black woman, black person all of my life. But in being pro-black, I still was taught to love everyone, to give everyone a chance. That was my grandmother. You know, we experience hardships, but you can't tell a person who they are by what they look like on the outside. And so I give everybody a fair chance. Might be a side eye, but I try to give a fair chance. I'm working on that. But who am I? Where do I come from? What tribe runs through my veins? That's a question that has haunted me a long time. My daughter, my first husband is African. And so my daughter is a true African American, right? And she hears stories about where she comes from and who she is. And she meets people, her relatives from Africa, that embody who she is, what's running through her veins. And I can't do that for her. I can't give that to her. I can't give that to myself. It was never given to me. And I knew my great-grandparents. I knew 4 sets of great-grandparents. And still, my information about who I am is not sufficient for me. I want to connect. I want to connect my identity to geography. I'm not just doing this test just to have my DNA. because I've done other DNA tests previously. I'm doing this test in the pursuit of historical clarity for me. I chose African Ancestry for particular reasons. And one is that it focuses on African ethnic groups, right? It can almost go and tell you what tribe your genetics came from. And that's everything I want to know. So I was thinking I'd take you on that journey with me. How about that? Okay. Here we go. It says, discover the roots of your family tree and transform the way you define yourself with African Ancestry, the pioneer of genetic ancestry tracking for people of African descent. Oh, it was strange. I could have did that a little better, huh? Okay. Activate your test kit. So you got to log it in. So I'll log it in a little later. Get ready to take the test. Do not use mouthwash or toothpaste. You do not use caffeine or alcohol. Do not smoke. Do rinse your mouth out twice with water. Oh, okay. Allow the swabs to dry completely on a clean tissue or paper towel. Repeat the process until you use all 3 swabs. Provided, put your dry swabs in the smaller envelope, then place the return. Okay, where's the smaller? Okay. Why am I nervous? I feel nervous, though. I don't know. I'm a little anxious. Okay. Okay, I think it should be dry. It's been a half an hour. I activated my account. They give you an activation code and a number for your kit. I am going to, I'm in Mexico, but I'm going to San Diego tomorrow. And I want to put it in the mail my own self. I want to, I'll lick this. What are you doing? Okay, so you put it in there. Then it says you put it in okay. Then it gives you a put on it. And we're all set. I'm gonna go tomorrow and put it in the mailbox. Why do I feel nervous? Oh my God. All right. It's gone. It's gone. Wow. I'm thinking, why do I feel that what I just did is going to change my perception of self? Well, I'll let you know when you get it. I'll let you know every step of the way. But I'm closer to knowing exactly who I am on my journey of self-discovery. Bye-bye.